Hey everybody, welcome to the CharlieB Podcast. I'm your host, CharlieB. Do you ever feel like you have so much going on and you just need to breathe? Being a wife and mother can be so overwhelming, and sometimes you just need a minute. Take that minute with me, CharlieB. In this space, we'll talk about marriage, motherhood, and just being a woman. How do we manage to keep it together in the midst of everything that's going on? We're women, and that's just what we do. So listen, this is that pull up to the house and sit in your car for a minute moment. We all need those. You didn't have to, but I'm so glad you decided to spend that moment with me on the CharlieB Podcast. Let's jump right in. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the CharlieB Podcast. My name is Charlene, better known as CharlieB, and I am so glad that you took out the time to join me. Tonight, I have another very special guest in honor of Lupus Awareness Month. Yay. I'm so excited to have this young lady with me, a young lady that I've never met. This is our first time actually meeting, and we're actually doing it on Zoom tonight. And she's way out in San Diego, California, so I'm feeling kind of fancy tonight. CharlieB is doing her thing, and I'm just going to give her a moment to introduce herself to you all tonight. Take it away.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Charlene, for having me tonight and allowing me to share my story with everybody. My name is Adriana. I am 37 years young, and I've been living with lupus for 24 years now.
Wow.
Yes, long time.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay, I have my tissues ready, Adriana. Just in case. Just in case. 24 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. It's been a long road. It still is sometimes.
Right.
You know?
I cannot imagine. I just can't. When you said that, my mind went directly to my daughter who was diagnosed at 15. But seeing you now gives me, it encourages me, and it's going to encourage her as well. Because it can be scary, day to day. As you know, it can be really scary.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. So I started getting sick when I was 11 years old. Like, I remember very specifically when I started feeling ill. And I had migraines at 11 years old. In 6th grade, there I was, just, getting sick every day.
Goodness.
And it was just kind of, my parents would take me to the doctors, and they would just say, it's probably just anxiety. Just have her, And then finally, when I was 13, I ended up getting this bout of bronchitis, and I just wouldn't get better. I wasn't getting better.
Right.
And then I couldn't walk. And then finally, by the grace of God, a nurse practitioner just looked at me and said, I think she might have lupus. And my mom was like, what? What is that?
Exactly. What is that?
Like, what is that? And then I already had kidney involvement by then. It was already, attacking my kidneys. So I went to see this amazing pediatric nephrologist, and I was confirmed my diagnosis by a kidney biopsy.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. At 13.
At 13.
Yes.
You have been on a journey.
I have, yes.
So what I find the most interesting is for everybody that until you hear about it, you don't know about it. Do you
Correct.
find that is true in your case as well? Like your mom said, what is that? That's what I said. Well, I knew by then because my niece had it, but I didn't really know about lupus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find it to be very, very common. Like, people don't really know, especially the severity of the disease.
There you go.
There are many times that I've been very, very ill in my life, and it's a very complex disease.
Yes.
And then obviously it's the you don't look sick disease, right?
Oh, right. That's the most frustrating part about it.
You see, I mean, we see each other now, or the listeners are obviously not going to see me, but if you saw me, you wouldn't think there was anything wrong with me.
Not one thing. Your skin is popping. Your eyes are gorgeous. You are just amazing. You are absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. So I also think that's that. And I also find that in more relationships that I build just in the lupus community, I find that a lot of lupus warriors, and I'm guilty of this, stay silent. They don't ever tell you exactly how they really feel because they feel like they're not going to be believed. And I think a lot of it stems from being basically gaslit when you go visit these doctors and they tell you it's all in your head. It's just anxiety, lose weight, it's this, it's that. They don't take you seriously when you tell them that you don't feel good. And nobody understands their body better than, you yourself.
It's the same story, Adriana. It's the same story. If I wasn't fighting for my daughter, I'm a mama bear. I'm a lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. I'm fighting for my daughter. You're not going to tell her that she's crazy, that she needs to lose weight. You're not going to tell her that there's nothing wrong with her. I know my child and she knows her body. So just to back up just a little bit.
Yeah.
When you were younger, and how often did you go back and forth to the doctors and they said, you'll be all right, it's just anxiety?
It took me 2 years. So I was 11 when I started feeling sick, and it was 2 years of consistently being lethargic, having pain, little to no energy, always being very sickly, having these terrible migraines, but I would just, the aura migraines where you can't see anything and you would vomit and just couldn't even lift your head because it was excruciating. And for years, and I just accepted it.
For a sixth grader, I'm picturing myself in sixth grade. I did get migraines, but our migraines don't really mean anything in my family. I don't want to say they don't mean anything. They're very typical. In my family, almost everyone in my family on my mother's side suffers from migraines. So when my daughter was saying she has migraines, it was okay, let's do the same steps that my parents did with me, neurologist, this, that. But hers were different. Hers felt different to me. And she even began to look different. So while we stay on there for a little bit, what can you say now as an adult to a mom whose child is just not a normal situation? And then that child, somebody's going to be listening to this. And my goal is to bring awareness to this debilitating disease and to have people, especially doctors, stop ignoring the signs. We must not allow them to continue to ignore the signs.
Yeah. I think my biggest takeaway from it and learning now what I know is that always ask for the extra test. I always say that. If you are a parent that's dealing with a kiddo that is sick or, you're not really getting answers, then you need to find another doctor that's going to give you.
There you go. That's right.
The answers. And then if there's nothing wrong, then okay.
Okay, fine.
But at least you know that everything was done to help my child feel better or help protect them from getting worse.
Right. There you go. I love it. I love that. And then when you finally got to the point where they said you have lupus, how did that, were you relieved or were you, what was you and your parents' response?
I don't think I had a very big emotional reaction. I think my thinking was I'm not going to feel bad anymore. At that point, when I was at my worst, I couldn't walk. I was so sick. I was so ill that it was just, I don't think the diagnosis meant as much to me as it went as far as just, I'm going to feel better and I'm going to get to just be a kid.
Right.
Versus what I think it meant for my parents.
Right.
You know, I think for them, it was probably devastating. Well, now I know, now when I talk to, you know, my mom, it was devastating for them.
It was.
You know?
I can't imagine. I don't like comparing one story to another because every family is different. But I was neither relieved nor devastated. I was just shocked. Like, what do you mean? Because Audrey has endometriosis and fibromyalgia too. And so for us, it was not what are we supposed to, how is this child ever going to live a normal life if we keep piling diseases on top of what we have? So a lot of times, like for Chanel, she said she was relieved because finally I have proof that I'm not crazy, because she was made to believe she was crazy.
Right.
So how do, you know, I guess my thing is, where does it stop and how does that get better? Just that, the view, maybe the word I'm looking for is the ignorance. That's the word, the ignorance. But like you said, ask for the test, ask for the extra test, and it's sad that you have to push doctors, but sometimes you have to push doctors.
Yeah. And I think also in the age of social media and how much people are on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, you know, all these Twitter, all this stuff, I think just people continually sharing their stories and what they experience is so important, because one day, you never know, right? You see somebody that isn't feeling good and then it clicks that you saw a video or something.
Right.
You know, maybe it wouldn't hurt to ask just to see if this is why I'm feeling this way.
I like that.
You know?
Keep getting the word out.
Yeah.
Because
that's a huge part, I feel like. The advocacy and sharing your story and being real with what you go through is not only going to help you find a sense of community, but maybe help that person that is not feeling well and is looking for answers, or that mom that's trying to help their child. You know, you just never know.
Absolutely. That is so true. That just rings true for, I'm sure, because I'm on the different side. I'm the mom with the child. You were the child, now you're the mom. And so you can see it both ways. Not that God forbid, not that your child has it, but you can see how both sides would feel, right?
Right.
Being diagnosed so young.
Yeah.
So young. Audrey is her doctor's youngest patient. So it was even more difficult because nobody would take her. Nobody would see her because she was so young. So how was your middle school and high school years?
So for the most part, I have always been, through middle school and high school, I was very responsible. You know, I would set my alarms. I had to take, you know, I don't know if you know what CellCept is, but I had to take CellCept. Back then when I was diagnosed, it was fairly new to be available for the treatment of lupus.
Right. Okay.
So back then, what we have now wasn't available. You know, when
I can't imagine.
Back in '99, so we had to get special permission, and now CellCept is used. You know, through it's one of the biggest medications that we use for lupus.
What is it called?
CellCept.
CellCept. I've never heard that one before.
It's a transplant medication that they've used for, you know, to treat lupus as well.
Nice.
But back when I was diagnosed, it was brand new. And I remember, like, my pharmacy, and it was a Rite Aid pharmacy right here in my neighborhood.
Right.
They'd have to, like, special order it for it to come because they didn't have it.
Wow.
You know, all this stuff, insurance didn't want to cover it. This whole, thing, because
all that
it was
fun stuff.
So new. So I just remember, you know, having to wake up I would have to take the medicine. I'd set my alarms. I set my medicine next my nightstand, take it 3 hours before I would eat, and I would wake up, at 4:00 in the morning, take my medicine. So I had to grow up. That is what I most remember, I think. I had to grow up and be responsible for this really, really big thing.
Wow. Yes.
So that I could live a somewhat normal life.
As much as possible, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That, I'm telling you, I can just see Audrey. She's the most responsible child I've ever met in my life. I told her that she's at the level right now. I wasn't as mature as Audrey is right now till I was like 25 or 26 years old. She is like amazing. Amazing. So did you stay in school? Were you homeschooled? How did that work out?
So I had to take a leave in eighth grade when I was diagnosed. But I ended up being able to catch up, and
Nice.
I hit my promotion, and obviously when you're dealing with a medical condition, schools are pretty understanding,
Right.
and
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't like a bad student or anything, so it wasn't like I was
Well, thank God for that, right?
like super behind. So, and when I felt good, I went to school. And in high school, I had these things called the 504 plan.
Yep, that's my girl.
Where they
Yeah.
provide accommodations.
Yes.
Where if I didn't feel good, I could just get up and go to the nurse's office. I didn't even have to ask. If I needed to go home, I would just call my parents and I'd say, hey, you guys need to come pick me up. Extra time walking to class.
Yep.
Someone would help me carry my books and things like that. But I remember my high school years. I mean, I did fairly well. And I remember my high school years being great. I mean, I was in show choir. I was, in clubs.
Nice.
And I had my friends. I was in dance. So
Yeah.
I remember just living a pretty regular life, besides having to go to the doctors and take medication every day.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. And I really, it's tough for me as a mom because I really wanted that for my daughter, but we had to pull her out because it was just too much. And that was, leaving her friends was oh my gosh, it broke my heart. Because I know those years are like those, you come to know yourself and you're meeting people, and God help me, the first boy you like and all that kind of stuff. So we try not to focus on the things that she missed out on, and keep her focused on the things that are to come, because the people that you knew in high school, you're not even going to know them anymore, kind of thing. I do my best.
That is very true.
I do my best with it. But she's really looking forward to going to college. So yeah, but right now she's in a flare up. So it's like, oh dear Lord.
Yeah.
So after high school, what happened?
So I went to college. I did community college for a bit. I did end up getting sick, very, very ill, right around, I want to say maybe 19 years old. And I ended up so I went to community college, and then I went to fashion school.
Nice.
And then when I was in fashion school, I was working, I had an internship, I was going to school, I was having a social life, just like a typical college thing. But I ended up paying the price. I ended up getting
too much.
I was doing too much and not, resting. But I wanted to live, right?
Yes.
I wanted to just experience the life that I felt that I deserved.
Right. Absolutely. I understand. So when you said you got really sick, what does that look like?
So I went into really bad kidney, because I have kidney involvement. So I went into really bad kidney failure. And I had a horrible lupus nephritis attack. So I ended up having to go on chemotherapy at the age of 19.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Chemotherapy for lupus.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So that kind of shifted a lot for you.
It shifted a lot for me. It shifted a lot for my mom. That was probably the hardest chapter, I feel like, in my illness for her, because just the word chemo to her was just devastating. Like, she couldn't even sit in the infusion centers with me when I would go in there. You know, she couldn't bring herself. She didn't have the strength to go in there and see me go through something like that. Yeah. So I ended up doing chemotherapy until I was 21.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, right before I stopped.
That was your that was your treatment? Like,
yes, that was my treatment. Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, because my kidneys were in such distress, and the goal is, when you have organ involvement, the goal is to save your organs and keep them as long as possible.
Wow.
Yeah. And I feel lucky because, you know, when I was diagnosed, I had the best pediatric nephrologist, but he said, you know, at the rate that your kidneys look when I was diagnosed, that I would be lucky if I made it to 22 without having a transplant. And now I'm 37 and I'm still not close to that.
Oh, thank you, Jesus.
I'm closer, but I still have, you know,
2 working kidneys.
They're chugging along.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Oh, oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I never even would have imagined that one would have to have that kind of treatment for lupus. Like, it's even grander than in my mind, because I go through what I go through with my daughter. But to hear that somebody actually had to have chemo for almost 2 years. Yeah.
And in the beginning it was rough because they were more regular, and then after that they were like longer periods of time between the treatments, right. So I wouldn't feel as bad. But it was rough. Even now to this day, like, I feel like I still have PTSD. If I see anybody like in an infusion center doing chemotherapy, like, it just like my heart drops into my stomach, right. Because I just remember how hard and how heavy it is to be in those centers. Yes. Like, you know, you see a lot of sick people, and I even remember having this experience. There was this one, I mean, obviously I was always the youngest one. Yes. You know, but I remember meeting this young lady, and she was, you know, she had stage 4 lung cancer, and she was sitting there with her mom, and she was talking to me, and we were telling her about, and she was feeling bad for me. She was feeling bad for me and everything that I was going through. And I'm like, so it's a very emotionally heavy place to be in one of those infusion centers, and to have to do those kinds of treatment, especially at that young age, because I'm 19 years old. My hair is falling out. Like, I am, you know, all these things, the nausea, the weakness,
Wait, Adriana,
pain in your bones.
I'm sorry. You had to actually lose your hair.
Did. Thankfully, I have very Mexican, so I have a lot of hair. But yes, I lost most of it. I had a lot of bald spots in my head, and I cut it very, very short. I probably should have shaved it off, but you know, it's hard when you're that age.
I can't even imagine.
It's like you don't want to do those things. So I wore a lot of hats. I wore a lot of beanies, you know.
Oh my goodness. Like, wow. I'm just trying to take that all in. You are a true warrior.
Oh, thank you.
You are a true warrior. Like, was it Xena, warrior princess? Like, wow. And then as you go through, you keep going through, you keep fighting. Mm-hmm. So during that time and after that time, after the treatment was over, what was next for you?
So I was well for a bit, and then I started having almost like secondary issues from like the lupus. So I went through a really bad bout of severe anemia, where my bone marrow essentially just stopped working and stopped like producing like red blood cells. And, you know, so that chapter, I think, was a little bit more concerning because we couldn't really get the correct answers. You know, I was having to get shots every week, like all these treatments to help boost my hemoglobin, my red blood cells, you know, just so that I could walk without feeling like I was going to pass out.
Right.
And, you know, and I ended up having to, you know, be on treatment, get blood transfusions, have a bone marrow biopsy. So that happened, I want to say maybe like a couple of years after I did that. I want to say that chapter might have been a little bit harder for me, only because it was a little bit more unknown. I wasn't showing really high levels of, you know, of lupus activity where they couldn't figure out why this was happening and why my bone marrow just decided that it wasn't going to work. Just wasn't going to work.
Oh my goodness. What kind of lupus do you have? I'm learning that also that there are different types.
Okay, so I do have lupus SLE.
SLE,
but
okay.
I have had skin involvement. I've had lupus attack my skin. But it was a very it's only been once, and it was a very isolated incident, and I was able to just use like a steroid cream.
Okay.
And I've been fine ever since.
Okay.
That happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I am I'm trying to keep it together. I am shocked. I didn't know. Like, so I interviewed my daughter first because I know her story. Yes. And, you know, even there's some things that she said that shocked me too. But then Chili's story, I was like, I didn't know. Like, I just didn't know. And now with you, I'm like, oh my gosh. I might need to take some time off after this because, oh my, you all go through a lot. Mm-hmm. Is there ever a time when you had remission where you just were like good?
I think the best that I've been is, I want to say maybe the past few years, but again, I have a lot of secondary issues that are unrelated to lupus where I'm just not as, you know, I'm just not as healthy as a, you know, regular 37-year-old, you know, woman would be, right? Like I have diverticulitis. I also have fibromyalgia. I have a lot of arthritis. I have, you know, issues with like my vision. You know, I have just like a lot of things that I've gone through that are secondary issues that I believe have been caused or like a catalyst of me having lupus. You know, I have a condition with my heart. I have a blood clotting condition. Like, you know, I just have several things. I have high blood pressure. You know, so many things that are just secondary. So I will say that even though my lupus has been under control, I don't think that I've ever have been in perfect health. But I always say, if I don't have to lay around or be in the hospital, if I can't leave my house and I don't have to be in the hospital, then it's a win.
Yes.
Like if I can get up and I can get my daughter ready for school and take her to school and pick her up and do her homework with her and make dinner. And if those are the only things I can do in the day, then I'm okay with that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Wow. So many thoughts come to my mind. Do you think that lupus is related to some things? Like most people that I've talked to so far who have fibromyalgia also have lupus. Or have, like, it's almost like they're cousins or something. Right. Like if you have one, you have the other.
Right. So I I suffer from anxiety, and I also suffer from depression. So therapy has been a huge part of my life, and I think even helping me have the mindset that I have, and just allowing me to be able to cope with all the things that I've had to deal with.
Yeah.
And fibromyalgia, just from like, it is like a trauma-based illness.
Yeah.
And so, and it stems from, you know, the nervous system, and, you know, you're not being able to like regulate the pain. And I think a lot of it has to do with, yes, having an autoimmune and it triggering that, but I also think that it has to do with the trauma and the things that a lupus patient has to deal with throughout their lifetime. And medical trauma is a real thing.
Yes.
Medical PTSD is a real thing.
Yes.
Those are very valid and normal conditions when people have to go into fight or flight mode.
Absolutely. With all that you all go through on a day-to-day basis, first it started out when you're young and you're told nothing's wrong with you, you're good. Just the whole process of the way you have to treat your own life can be depressing. But I find that when you are, how am I trying to say this? When you know, it's easier to deal with. Once you accept your situation, it's easier to deal with. We had I don't want to say we forced therapy on my daughter, but I kind of, her pediatrician was like, I think it is very important for you to get someone for her to talk to. And a lot of folks, mostly in my community, the African American community, we don't really, that's not our first answer.
Right.
Our first answer is, listen, I got Jesus. I don't need no therapist. My baby got Jesus. We go pray about this and God's going to work it out. That was not this mama, because I do have Jesus. But what I said to her therapist, because, you know, the first appointment was with all of us. When she has a headache, I take her to the head doctor. When she has a toothache, I take her to the dentist. When she has an eye problem, I take her to the eye doctor. I take her to the heart doctor. I took her to the kidney doctor. I don't know how to fix this, so I'm bringing her to you. That's what it's about for me. I stay in my lane. God made me a mother, not a therapist. Now, when she needs me, I am here. I put everything to the side and talk to her. But I think the fact that once you can talk about what you're going through, it's easier to cope. That doesn't mean you're not going to have some down days when you don't feel like getting up. But you push yourself to do so. And that's what makes you the warrior that you are.
Yeah, I agree. And that's awesome that you encourage her to do that, and I'm Mexican, and culturally we're the same way, right? Like, it's very like, you don't talk about anything, you don't go to therapy, like,
No.
So it is like, it's sometimes like, oh, you're in therapy, like, what's wrong with you?
Exactly.
It's very like a faux pas, like, oh, why
I knew she was crazy. No, I'm not crazy.
Yeah. And you know what? When you have lupus, it's consistently a cycle of grief, because as much as I have a beautiful life and I'm so blessed to have all the things that I've been given, but I've also had a lot of things taken away from me.
Right.
And that is very hard to accept.
Right.
At various points in your life, it's very hard, especially having it as long as I did, and having have lived the majority of my life with this illness. There's things that deciding not to go away for college because I needed to stick with my doctors, and what if something happened, and not being away from my parents, like, all those
your childhood, your childhood.
Exactly. So all those things, it's this cycle of consistent grief as you get older, as and those are, sometimes it's hard. Not sometimes. It's hard.
I was about to say, don't minimize it. No, it's hard.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It is hard. It's hard.
It's hard for me to watch. And I'm not living it, but I'm living it. That's why I have so much respect for anybody that wears it. Tell me about your family.
So I'm married. I have a husband. We've been married for now, it's going to be 12 years this July. Yeah, so we've been married for a while. Yeah. We have an 8-year-old daughter who's going to be 9 in July. She's a third grader. She's going to be a fourth grader. So sad. She's getting older.
I know.
It's devastating. I get so sad every time I see her growing up. I'm like, you have to stop.
Yes, a mother's woes. A mother's woes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I live there, I'm a very family-oriented person. So my mom lives like about 5 minutes away, and she is amazing. She's a rock star. I'm so lucky that I have her in my corner. And I have 2 younger brothers. I'm the oldest of 3.
So you're bossy.
I am bossy. I'm a Virgo. So that is just like in my personality. Like, I'm a type A. I like to control everything. I'm organized, and I'm a perfectionist. So
that's funny. All oldest kids are bossy.
Yeah.
I'm next to the youngest, and my oldest sister drives us nuts still.
Yeah.
Because she still thinks she has to tell us what to do. Sis, we are in our 50s. Sit down somewhere.
Yeah. And then my dad unfortunately passed away 3 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry for
but
your
he was
loss.
a huge part of the equation, and it was difficult when he passed away, because when you lose somebody, you have to, you function as a team, especially when you have an illness in your family. And then when somebody passes away, it's like that team member is missing. Yeah. And then everybody else around has to change their roles in the team. Yeah,
pick up the torch here, here, and here. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Wow. So you were mentioning before we got started all the cool things that your little one does.
Mm-hmm.
How do you keep up with that?
I don't even know, to be honest. Sometimes I amaze myself. I'm like, how am I even doing this? Like,
the grace of God. That's how the grace of God.
Yeah, she's amazing. Right now she's doing dance, and she does ballroom dance. So she's learning salsa and bachata.
Really cool.
Like salsa bachata dance. She has her little ballroom shoes with the heels and everything, and that's very exciting for her. And then she's in musical theater. So
wow,
she's going to do her plays coming up. She got they're doing Matilda. So.
Nice. Ooh. Who's she playing?
So Miss Honey.
Oh,
the teacher. Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
I love it. So I was just saying to someone back in the day, I used to love watching ballroom dancing on TV. But they don't show it anymore.
No, they have the Dancing with the Stars. I think that's the closest that you get to,
please.
They
would have. I mean, I would watch it here. I'm in New Jersey. It would be on like PBS or something like that.
Yeah.
And I would sit and watch it for hours, just hours. That's
beautiful.
Pretty cool.
It's beautiful.
God. That should be an Olympic sport. First of all.
Yes. The sportsmen, the way and her teachers and stuff, they wear these high heels and they just dance on their toes.
I know.
How do you do this? How do you do this?
Not my game.
It's fun to see her, be excited about things now.
I love
as she gets older, to have like a passion for something. She's my little miracle baby. So I'm I'm so lucky that I get to do all those things with her, and I get to be there and just enjoy
share it, embrace it, and just
things.
God is good that way. He allows it. He wants us to recognize it as a blessing too. He appreciates it when we recognize it as Him. It's nothing that we can do or have done. It's all Him.
Yeah.
And he graces us with these things, and he's just so wonderful like that. Yeah. That's so cool. Wow. Listen, give us some closing remarks. Just give some advice and how to keep going, keep chugging, and never give up. Never give up-ish. I make up words all the time.
I was kind of thinking about that today. I think that sometimes we're so focused on the things that our illness takes away from us, that it doesn't allow us to appreciate the things that we do get to do and that we do get to have.
Right.
And I think it's so important to, and I didn't learn this till I got older, but I feel like it's so important to focus on all the things that I'm able to do, that you get to do these things.
Right.
Right. And even with the passing of my dad, it was very sudden, it was unexpected, and it was something that teaches you, right? It teaches you how short life is.
Yes.
And then if you get to do something, then that's beautiful.
Right. It is. That is really good.
I get to be here. I get to be with my family. I get to go on vacation. I get to experience the beautiful things that is life.
Yes.
And I think if you come from that state of mind, everything is just going to be more beautiful in your life.
You'll get through it. When you realize, I like that. When you realize that you get to do it, you'll get through it. That should be on a t-shirt. I get to do it.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful that you took out the time to sit down and share your journey. It really means a lot to me. Your story is just going to change some lives. I have a feeling that you're going to encourage somebody. If I could just encourage one person an episode, I'm good. I'm good.
That's all you need. It only takes one.
That's it. And then one at a time, and then it's just going to explode. It's just going to explode. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my story and, spreading awareness, because that's what we need.
Yes. You have an amazing...
keep talking about it.
Yes, I will. I promise. You have an amazing story. You are beautiful. And I appreciate you fighting on. Don't stop fighting. And you don't stop talking about it either. Keep spreading the word. Keep sharing your story. Keep sharing your story. Thank you so much. Listen, tell us how we can find you.
I only use Instagram and Twitter. You can find me on Instagram at Lupie Mom Life, and I share all my adventures of being a mom and having a chronic illness. So
I love it. Thank you so much, Miss Adriana Gonzalez. I have really, truly enjoyed this night. Listen, CharlieB is doing things, y'all. I'm talking to someone on Zoom all the way out in California. I am so excited about myself tonight. I have a coach, her name is Brittany Smith, and I listened to her podcast today. And one of the things that she says is, don't be afraid to give yourself some credit. Right? Yeah. Because God, like you said, He allows us to get these things and allows us to do these things. So when you give yourself credit, not in a prideful way, you're glorifying the God that we serve. So I love that. I love it. And I'm going to take it with me. My dad used to say, put a handle on it and take it with you. So that's what I'm going to do. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. Join me next time right here on the CharlieB Podcast. CharlieB out. Oh, thank you so much, Adriana.
No, thank you. I appreciate you.
That was awesome.
Taking your time.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show. You can also like my page on Facebook at the CharlieB Podcast. Now, before you get out of the car and go to whatever is next, take a deep breath and remember, this is what you were created for. God gave you a different kind of strength, and whatever it is, you've got this. So again, thanks for tuning in. Really, you didn't have to, but I'm so glad that you did. Join me next time right here on the CharlieB Podcast.